Okay, welcome back to the channel. That was a great fight. I really enjoyed that. What a fabulous performance from both guys. Olexsander Usyk retains his belts in defeating Anthony Joshua in just a fantastic fight for both guys. Very courageous. The title of this thumbnail was courage, because both guys showed a hell of a lot of courage. And, you know, especially Usyk, not to mention just fortitude and skill and will to win and tapping into something in those later rounds as championship elite fighters do. And we're going to talk about all that. We'll try and break down the fight. We'll talk about AJ's catastrophic meltdown. Oh my goodness, AJ. That was quite shocking. I felt really bad for him, to be honest. I really did. I was like, where's Eddie? Somebody get the mic off this dude, because this is just really catastrophic. But, you know, I feel like I knew where he was coming from. He just expressed himself in completely the wrong way. And my goodness, I'd love to hear Hatman's words on that. I know he's an expert at breaking down psychology. And I deliberately haven't listened to anybody else's because I wanted all my own thoughts, but I will be tuning in, you know, to all of my favorite channels to listen in, because that was epic. Anyway, let's talk about this fight. First of all, I'm glad both these guys came out healthy. I always love to see that. All right, it's a very dangerous, violent game, violent sport, and you know, I think sometimes we forget just how brutal and what these boxers put themselves through. So that's good to see. Right, fight. Okay, round one. We spoke about. I said I thought my keys for you know what AJ should do. Better technique. He had to improve on his footwork and his body language and his discipline, and I think that was a big part of him being successful early on. I really do. I think his energy and the look on his face was you know, more assured, and he had a high level of concentration mixed with, you know, good aggression, and he was trying to push Usyk back smartly, and his punches were tighter. Okay, I spoke about him punching like a snake, you know, where you got to give Usyk less time to react and make the punches tighter without opening up your hands and, you know, giving too many tails away. Because later on, I'll get into the fight, but later on the tails started coming out and Usyk was able to time him, and I'll show some clips. But earlier on, AJ was targeting the body. You know, it was great to see. I was like, this is looking really good. I actually had, I don't know how you guys scored it, I actually had AJ 3 up. Okay, you could argue one of those was a swing round, maybe the first. Chris Mannix gave him the third. I personally gave AJ the third. I gave him 1, 2, and 3. Now again, that could have been 2-1. I've got no issues with that, but I personally thought AJ was landing the heavier shots, you know, and actually he outlanded Usyk. Usyk threw, you know, quite a few more, but you know, when you're landing heavier shots, he was landing downstairs too. I personally was scoring it for the heavier shots, and obviously his ring generalship in the early parts. AJ was making him fight more of his fight, I think. Okay, and then later on Usyk was doing that. You know, he was getting back into Usyk. So the first 3 rounds, very interesting. It was taking a lot of concentration. It was taking a lot out of AJ, excuse me. And then that, you know, he started to fade a little bit, and obviously towards the end completely. But like, yeah, the fight turned a little bit in like the 4th or 5th. Usyk started getting his rhythm, and AJ was falling into that trap a little bit, getting snake charmed a bit. His punch output went down a bit, I think, but his energy and his body language definitely went down. And like I said, he started to get timed, and Usyk started to, you know, have more joy in that mid-range, and he wasn't being backed up as much, and he was able to do the things that you know, he's best at doing. And when you give him more time, he's better at doing it. And you know, when AJ was forcing him back onto the ropes, and there were times even later on, AJ had his moments where he was just unloading on the ropes and he was getting some shots in, and Usyk at times was defending them masterfully, but at times there was some body shots getting through. And you know, so yeah, I'd say Usyk had like rounds 4 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think was a swing round. I personally give that to Usyk. I think Mannix gave that to AJ, but round 9, obviously that was where AJ had a massive amount of success, and he turned it on again, and he hurt Usyk, and he had him backing up, and it was like, okay, here we go. You know, that was a great round. This was a great fight. This was a great fight. Oh man, I loved it so much. It was just brilliant to watch. You know, AJ was really trying, and he made Usyk go to other levels. You know, like Usyk, I personally think that was Usyk's toughest fight. I have to go back and watch some of his older fights, to be honest, but I know the Brady's fight was closer. But in terms of what Usyk had to tap into, if you saw that in the 11th round at the end of it, where he's talking to God, because he's a very, you know, religious man, and he was trying to summon another level of himself, and that was fascinating to see. And I did a video on him, and I spoke about these little things that fighters like that can touch into, yeah, a higher version of yourself. It was fascinating to see. And that's where they get that ancestors come through. You know, I might be getting a little deep here, but I'm honest. Like, when you're dealing with spirits here, you know, like he summoned a high spirit to help him through those rounds, and he dug it out, and he was fighting. He's a warrior, man. They're both warriors. That was a great fight. So yeah. Round 9, AJ, you know, he should have capitalized on it. You know, round 10, Usyk. This is where great fighters, they take the play back. And AJ, I think the 9th took a lot out of him. You know, I think the 9th took a lot out of him. And Usyk was one of those fighters. He's like, nah, bro, you're not gonna do that to me. And that's where his unbelievable discipline, unbelievable preparation, mentality, fortitude, warrior spirit, digging out something that makes him a great fighter, which I spoke about in the pre-fight. He can channel that, and he can do that, and this is what great fighters do. So salute to him, salute to AJ. You know, the 11th and 12th, AJ was gassing. He was definitely gassing. His output went down, and it didn't really seem like he really like had that energy to really want to win the fight. I know it sounds, because he was really trying to win the fight most of the time, but there was times where you're like, bro, come on, like, let's see it. We need to see it, because you got enough in you. Let it hang out, bro. What are we waiting for? Let it hang out. Now's the time. Maybe I'm being a bit too critical of AJ. I still think he performed well. I was very critical of AJ, and on this channel, if anybody's new, I'm going to be very critical of fighters, right? I'm just going to say it how I see it, and if you have a favorite fighter, you're probably going to be offended, because I'm not going to hold back. But nobody was more pleased than me to see AJ do these things and correct some stuff, you know. Like, I was really pleased to see that. I'm like, good. And I think Garcia, actually, you know, I sensed there wasn't like the smoothest cohesion between them, but I think personally, I think AJ was just like so in his comfort zone with Rob McCracken, and then you had a no-nonsense trainer like Garcia, where it's like, do this, do this, do this, and it's like, you know, I don't think AJ was used to that, but I think he did it, because I think he had a great camp. I really do. Like, in terms of digging in to, like, you know, being hating training, but that, when you put yourself through shit, you know, it's going to make you stronger and better. And it was playing out in the fight, especially early on. And, you know, I felt for AJ, because he was really, really trying. He fought well. He just came up against a great fighter. It happens. But, you know, look, let's talk about this catastrophic meltdown, because unfortunately, as like, you know, this is probably going to be remembered for that now, isn't it? As people are going to be trolling him, and he's just like, I'm laughing, but like I generally feel for AJ, because that was a really uncomfortable thing to watch. Somebody just absolutely implode on the biggest stage out to, you know, probably the whole entire world. And I think, you know, when you have somebody like AJ, who's just been, you know, reared the corporate route with Sky from, you know, a young age, you know, Eddie Hearn's done a fantastic job with him, but he's in the corporate world, and he's like, don't say this, don't say that, do this, and he's trying to appease absolutely everybody. Not to mention all the criticism that he's been getting about this and that, and then you saw that come out. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was really awkward. But I think the message he was trying to send was there too. I think he's just like, well, what we go through, you guys don't know, you know, but he just didn't deliver it in the right way. And it was, you know, like I said, pretty shocking. But man, you know, and even in the press conference, you know, he's in tears in the press conference. And, you know, Eddie Hearn, like, you know, like I was saying, it's their fault for rearing somebody like this and pushing him and, like, you know, building him up. And look, I'm sure AJ won't be too mad because he's done very well out of that. But that's what you get when you get brought through that corporate world, and you're not allowed to say this, you're not allowed to do that, and you get, well, it just came piling out, I think. But Eddie Hearn seemed to have a very compassionate answer, and, you know, he brought him to tears almost as well. There was a lot of crying going on last night. There was a lot of emotion, and that's part of a big fight as well. You know, all this stuff comes with it, and, you know, Usyk performed gallantly and courageously and deserved that win. And I thought this fight was going to be a majority decision, or Usyk, you know, closer than last time. I thought it was going to be a great fight. It was a great fight. I backed it up with maybe a draw, but, you know, I didn't really expect AJ to win this fight, but I thought he would do a lot better, and I'm really pleased his technique was better, and his energy was better, and his body language was better. He was very disciplined as well. He kept a good fight up for most of it, you know. He was keeping his hands up. He was able to, like, he wasn't getting tagged with those left hands as cleanly as often. Usyk had a few other little tricks up his sleeve, but, like, that was just a great fight. I'm glad to be a boxing fan right now. I hope everybody else enjoyed it. And you know, this video is a little late coming out. I'm trying to make sure that these post-fight videos are, you know, more detailed, and if it takes time to put it out, so be it. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, I'm, you know, really curious, and you know, I hope everybody enjoyed the fight at the end of the day, because I don't know, I loved it. It was amazing. But I might be missing some stuff. You know, there was a lot to talk about. I made a lot of notes, and, you know, I'm trying to be more organized as I do these post-fight videos. But at the end of the day, we got a great fight, and what's next for these guys? I guess, you know, like, you know, AJ, I don't know, man. He needs to, like, maybe just take it easy for a second. I think he could do with honestly getting back in there and knocking somebody clean out. Stay away from any tricky southpaw. Stay away from a power puncher. Just, you know, just get back in that win column and a spectacular knockout, just to, like, help him out a bit. Because, you know, if there are people talking about him being finished and retiring, I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. But Usyk, great fighter. I mean, you know, obviously, hopefully the Fury fight, Fury's retired, I guess. So I don't know. To be honest, they can do whatever the hell they want. They've earned the right. They've put themselves through this, and, you know, credit to them. So anyway, that's it for me. Boxing on the Edge. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. I've got way more stuff. I'm trying to take this channel to levels and levels and levels above what it is now, and I will do. Just bear with me and give me some time. But yeah, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourself.